I have just returned from an extremely busy and productive week in South Korea, where for the second year in a row I was kindly hosted by Australia's embassy in South Korea to give a series of speeches, official meetings, media interviews, etc., primarily promoting the concept of the Indo-Pacific, and in that context, the relationship between South Korea and Australia, but also applying my 30 years of experience trying to understand the most difficult to understand crisis in the world, of course, and that being North Korea and the ongoing crisis surrounding its nuclear program, its missile program, which of course are of interest not just in South Korea and Japan, near neighbors, but also in countries like the United States and Australia, given the range of North Korean missiles. It is always quite an interesting thing to go from a country like Australia, where in our media we focus intensely on the North Korean threat, to a country like South Korea that's lived under the immediate reach of that threat for 60 plus years right now. And not surprisingly, they're a little bit more sanguine about the issue than we might be. And yet, from a Perth perspective, this couldn't be more important. South Korea is a very important trade partner. It's Australia's fourth largest trade partner, our third largest destination for exports. And strategically, in our broader effort to maintain a rules-based order in the Indo-Pacific, an important democratic ally, one that has a very similar sized economy and is an important partner in almost every regional organization in which Australia engages: the ASEAN Regional Forum, the East Asia Summit, the Regional Cooperative Economic Partnership, APEC, and so on. So it was a productive week. As you might imagine, there was an early sense of not euphoria, but hopefulness after the Inter-Korean Summit a couple of weeks ago. During the course of the week, as various tweets and statements came tumbling out of Washington, D.C., it seems to be their want. The mood darkened somewhat as there's now probably less hope for upcoming summit, but still, compared to the rest of the region, I think the South Koreans see this as an opportunity and one that they're eager to grab. We at the Perth U.S. Asia Center have been eager to not only focus on the security interests in the region, but also trade. I'm happy to report that next week we'll be hosting the former South Korean Trade Minister, Professor Park Tae-ho, who's currently at Seoul National University, and really a leading light in global trade negotiations. He was a runner-up for the head of the World Trade Organization position, and has been at the center of almost every major regional trade negotiation for the last 20 years. He will be joined by Ambassador Frank Lavin, former U.S. Ambassador to Singapore, and former Undersecretary of Commerce, which is the equivalent of the Australian head of Austrade, as well as several others, for a wonderful public panel on Tuesday, the 29th of May, here at the University of Western Australia, focusing on the Trump shock to the global trading system and the region's response. We hope you'll all be able to join us for that. And we hope you will all join us as we continue at the Perth U.S. Asia Center to look at important developments on the Korean Peninsula, both security, economic, and historic.